Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back to my channel, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados. Not fans, like we established last time. Thank you, director. No, I'm just pretending there is a director, of course. There is nobody directing. I'm here alone, and I'm just playing around a bit last time, pretending to also be the director and having a conversation with myself. Right, so it's another episode of Creature of Havoc, one of the most difficult books in the whole fighting fantasy franchise, it seems, for many different reasons. I'm not going to go through, this is a continuation in many ways of my previous episodes. I'm not going to go back to the beginning. I'm going to start at the point where you get into the outside world, where you leave the dungeons, the mines of Jaradan Ma, and head off into the open outside world. So I'm not going to go through all the background. I'm just going to do very swift background story for you now. So in Creature of Havoc, you are not the hero in the normal sense. You are a monster, a creature that has been created with a kind of magical art known as Maranga, which combines the qualities and physical characteristics of two different living entities. Could be animals, could be people. And it certainly seems like that is what you are. Of course, we can't know 100% for sure yet, but we know about this. So, and you start the adventure not knowing who you are, what you are, where you are, or what anyone is saying. You also do not start having free will. To start with, you are given the choices of directions in the dungeon when you move about, or what you want to do, but then you roll a die, and that is the outcome of the die is what decides what you do. You are ruled by your instincts. You don't have free will. In the background story, the Tales of Trolltooth Pass, we are told of the three vapors. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but they are magical vapors, a kind of gaseous kind of life form born of a god and an elf queen. And these vapors, they have special magical powers that they can imbue on whoever uses them. They can be used only once. And in the course of your adventure, you have first bump into the vapor of reason, which gives you free will, rational thought. And then you bump into the vapor of tongues, which gives you the ability to understand what people are saying and presumably to speak their language as well. And so you understand what before just seemed like complete gibberish. And then, and the reason these vapors can be found is because there are adventurers roaming around in these dungeons trying to recover these vapors. Some of them even criminals who've been sent in as a punishment to recover a vapor. And because they were stolen from the elves, stolen by Jaradan Ma, who primarily just wanted the vapor of magic, which of course we haven't seen yet. That is his main one, but of course he stole all of them when he was at it. And you have then to try to find your way out of the dungeon, it seems, and there are lots of obstacles in the way, and you get to lots of places that seem like complete dead ends. But you can find an amulet which shows you secret passages, secret rooms, that gives you a crystal club, and also it makes you find a secret way that leads you to the bit where you need to go out. So the exit is also discovered that way. And when you have learned how to understand what people are saying, you are able to communicate with someone who is able to help you a bit. So there are a few clues now that I've got. There's a main one, I suppose, is now that I haven't used yet, because I did get a clue to help me escape. And then there is, I've got two things now. I've got a message I need to deliver. At least that's what I've been told. That was written down for me. And then I've also been informed from reading a scroll how I may be able to what I'm supposed to do when I find the gate to the netherworld, which is another plane of existence that Jaradan Ma uses for his main being, I think, in order to protect himself from physical harm. Of course, he is sort of a semi-demonic kind of creature now. He's gone beyond his normal human form to become something more like a lesser demon in a way. So those are the things that I have in my possession that I can use later, that I will be needing to use at some point. Yes, and then we find our way out. So if you want to know all the details of how you find your way out, watch all the previous 10 episodes, is it? Or something like that, and you'll have the full story. Yeah, I know it's quite long, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, so let's just get started on this one, I think, and I'll see you in a few moments on my desk. Right, here we are on my desk. Got my supplies, book, character sheet, maps, pens, pencil, dice, and let's get ready to go. Now, you may notice the lighting is a little bit different again today because it finally isn't a sunny day. Yeah, when I think about it, the weather has been absolutely amazing lately. It's been nice and summery and sunny and lovely. And today it's just pouring down with rain, which makes a nice diffused daylight, of course, perfect for filming by. That's so I don't have to cover my window. I get some natural daylight in, but most of the light you see now, that is artificial light from my lamp, my daylight lamp, which is what I use for my desk lamp now, which is brilliant, by the way. If you want a lamp to work by, get a full spectrum daylight lamp, because it's so much better for your eyes, and you can see colors correctly as well if you do anything to do with colors, like I sometimes do. So let's see. So we finished with page 1 of the map, page 2 of the map, page 3. Let's see. Which one was this again now? Oh, yeah, that's the last one before you go outside. And this was... oh yes, there was a bit that I thought might be a sort of a grid system map, so I just made a known. Okay, so those are the maps I need today. I will start from here, 472, 442, actually, not 442. I will start from 442, which is where you find your way out of the dungeons. And let's see what happens next. Well, last time I just bumped into lots of zombies and stuff, and then I found a way back down into the dungeon, into one of those loopy bits. And of course, you no longer have the item you need to find secret passages, and so you're just stuck in that loop. So there are several loops now in this game that you can get stuck in. There's one where you get infinite Chaos Warriors. There is one where if you kill the guard watching the door to the outside, then you can just keep going around in a circle as well, trying to break down the door. And then there is a dead end little loop as well. So yeah, there's just a few loops. Steve Jackson likes his loops. Space. You have escaped from the dungeon and have emerged into cool night air. Slowly, you survey the landscape, your mind filled with wonder at the space all around. You appear to be standing in an open field in which stones have been fixed in regular rows. This turns out to be a graveyard, by the way. Some lie down flat on the ground and some are standing up. To your left, near the edge of this field, is a large building with a tall pointed roof. That's the mausoleum. On the other side, to the right, is a wood and a path. Lead straight into the wood from where you are now. Overhead, a huge white orb, that's the moon, hangs in the sky giving some light, but this light dwindles when great smoky masses, clouds, drift across in front of it. You are overawed by your new environment. Would you like to investigate some of the stones set into the ground around you? Would you like to look around the old building, or would you like to leave this area along the path into the woods? Now, I'm wondering now, because if you look at the stones, of course, you get attacked by zombies, but there is one way you can get away from the zombies. I'm just wondering, is there a chance that the information you get from looking at the stones is going to be a clue to what happens in the future? So I'm not 100% sure about that, but if that is the case, I will find my way back again to that piece of information, I suppose. I see, actually, 261. I see I forgot to write something on my map now. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to look at the stones. I'm going to look at the stones, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so, a bird's cry pierces the night air as you step through the mysterious stones, looking for anything unusual. You pause by a tall, smooth black stone and study the writing on it. Here lies Sogarth Foulblade, smitten in the scullyweed plague, leaving goodwife Melinia and sons Chard and Seth. May Clarician take his soul. Not far from this is an ornate stone covered in small carvings of winged creatures. No, hang on. I misread this thing. You can't get away from this one without... Oh, never mind then. I'm not going to do this bit. I'm going to go straight for the woods because that's what I was thinking. I thought I saw that you could also go to the woods from here, but you can't directly. So I'm going to go for the woods. Never mind the gravestones this time. Okay, so... But the thing is, I don't know for sure. Is there a clue in those names there? We don't know yet. May or may not be. The path takes you along towards the trees. You pass a sign on the edge of the forest which reads "Not Oak Wood." Once in the wood, the going is more difficult as the light is obscured by the tall trees. If you wish to rest by one of the trees, turn to 362. If you would rather prefer to keep going, turn to 162. So we have, let's see, two options. 162, go, and 362, stay. I think there's a song in there somewhere. Oh, also got my cup of tea today, by the way. I'd almost forgotten. Okay. I'm going to rest by one of the trees, because it's one of those what happens if I do that kind of things. And after a few moments, you find it difficult to keep your eyes open and your head begins to nod. Resistance is useless. You roll over on the ground and fall soundly asleep. But your sleep is disturbed by dreams of dark creatures, humans with sharp swords, and magical encounters. In the center of your dreams is yourself, understanding nothing, forever wondering where you are and why. In one dream, you are running from a hideous figure who is pursuing you in a ship which flies. The faster you try to escape, the easier it is for the ship to catch up. Leering sadistically, the figure drops a net over you. You crash to the ground, trapped in the net, trying desperately to escape. You wake up with a start, arms flailing madly. A breeze has blown the branch of an oak into you, so that its leaves cover your face and chest. You breathe a sigh of relief and pick yourself up. Your eyes narrow to slits as they adjust to a new experience for you. Daylight. You may add 4 stamina points for the rest. I think I got max anyway, so... And then you set off once more through the wood. Turn to 244. Right, you continue east until you reach a junction where another path... Now, of course, an interesting thing now is that if you head off into the forest at night, something else might have happened. So I might try that some other time now. You continue east until you... Okay, so I need to... Let's do my map now, sorry. 244. Mustn't forget to do my map. You continue east until you reach a junction where another path joins from the north. There is a signpost at the junction. The sign pointing northwards reads Coven. To the south, the sign reads Bilgewater, though no path runs that way. To the east, the sign reads Testing Grounds. Which way do you wish to go? North, south, or east? Okay, so testing grounds. I know I'm supposed to go to testing grounds to deliver the message, so maybe that is my first port of call. Bilgewater, I don't like that river. It stinks, which is why it's called Bilgewater, I presume. So we have three options. I'll just put them up there. I'm not going to make a topographical, geographical kind of map for this bit. I don't think that is necessary. North, let's see, 191, north, 57, south, or 12, east. And I wanted to go to testing grounds, which is east. So that is going to paragraph 12. You follow the trail until you reach the top of a hill. The trail winds down into the valley. You pick your way cautiously down and reach the bottom safely. But as you pause to rest for a moment, you are startled by a rustling in the bushes behind you. You swing around just in time to avoid the sharp blade of an axe, which misses your face by inches. You growl deep down in your throat and turn to face the tall woodcutter who has attacked. Resolve this combat. And if you win, go to 17. So we have there, 17. Right, so skill 8, stamina, skill 8, stamina 9. I've got 1123, so I got 3 skill point advantage. He rolls 7, I roll 8. It's down to 7. He rolls 5, I roll 6, and I roll doubles. And of course, if you've seen any episodes before, you know that I have a special ability now that allows me to instantly kill someone on doubles, when I roll doubles, that is, regardless of whether they were supposed to hit that round. Another thing which, oh, by the way, one more thing which I actually missed earlier, but somebody pointed it out to me on Facebook, is that when I lose stamina, I only lose 1 point, not 2. I mean, in combat, I only lose 1 or 2 because I'm so strong. And I missed that completely through most of my playthrough now. And so, yeah, that makes a huge difference. But there's so many other things to kill you in this one besides combat. Combat doesn't seem to be the main way to go. So this guy is dead, and he goes. I go to 17. There we are. You can see ahead that a river runs through the valley, and you make your way to its banks. As you get closer to the water, you notice that the vegetation is changing. The lush green color of the trees and bushes higher up the valley is replaced by a darker olive color, and the plants down here are decidedly less healthy. That doesn't sound like good water to me. It should be the other way around. Spindly branches reach out at unnatural angles as if pleading for mercy. On the ground, many of the roots of the contorted trees are exposed and have been eaten away. The surrounding bushes are often leafless, and the effect is rather eerie. A faint smell hangs in the air. You continue down towards the river. The closer you get, the stronger the smell becomes, until eventually it is overpowering. Why do I keep going towards the river? I can't stand that river. The stench seems to come from the river itself, and when you arrive at its banks, you can see why. Indescribable filth and excrement is being carried along by the foul waters. But as the only path runs along the banks, you will have to choose. Would you follow the river upstream or downstream, or would you leave the path and make your way through the undergrowth? Right. I'm going to move my map up here now because I don't know how much space I'll need for the other options down here. So just to be on the safe side. So we have 4, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 7, or 57. So that is undergrowth. And then it is upstream. So up, down, and undergrowth. I don't want to go upstream because that's where I came from, isn't it? So I'm going to go downstream, 423. You pick a way along the riverbank, following it downstream. The going is not easy. At one point you must climb carefully down a rocky cliff, where the river passes over a waterfall. Eventually you reach a calm pool, where the waters slow and spread over in a wide expanse. Steam rises lazily from the pungent water, and you halt in your tracks as the smell, now stronger than ever, reaches you. Why is it stronger downstream? Shouldn't be stronger downstream, it should be stronger upstream. Shouldn't it? Or I suppose it has more time to mature. I suppose the aromas have more time to breathe and mature on the way out. Anyway, through the steamy mist you catch a glimpse of a creature further along the bank. It stands tall on four legs and is drinking contentedly from the foul waters. And that's this charming looking thing here. Looks like a cross between a kind of a lizard and a horse. Not quite a horse, it got cloven hoofs, doesn't it? So, yeah. Some kind of strange beast, anyway. Just like me. You creep closer, keeping hidden in the bushes. The creature stands on long cloven feet. Its skin is covered in tough scales, and its tail ends in a spiky ball. Oh yes, so there is. It's like a morning star spiky thing there. Its head is sleek and serpent-like, with a long, thin tongue that darts in and out as it drinks from the river. It has not noticed you. We creep round the creature so as not to disturb it. Will you attack it in the hope of gaining a much-needed meal, or will you approach it gently, try to keep it calm, and then mount it? That sounds like more fun to try, doesn't it? So we have. I'll just put my little bit of space again. And I've got plenty of paper, so there's no need to make a cramped map. I have to keep repeating that to myself. So 1, 2, 7, 1, 2, 0, 2, 3, 8. So that is mount, creep, or attack. It doesn't look like the friendliest of beasts, but I'm going to try to keep it calm and then approach it gently and all that stuff. See if that works. I mean, it would be fun if it did work, wouldn't it? You creep forward until you are quite close to the creature. As you stand there motionless, patiently waiting for the right moment, a bird flutters down to... Hang on, is that the right one? This looks like that's not what you want. You don't creep closer if you want to. You want to make it. If you want to keep a creature calm, you have to make sure it knows you're there first. You have to hello, and then you move closer. You can't just creep closer, then you'll startle it. So let's see. You creep forward until you are quite close to the creature. As you stand there motionless, patiently waiting for the right moment, a bird flutters down to land on a bush in front of you. You must now decide how you will approach the Ophidiotr that you have encountered. Ophidiotr, nice name. Roll 2 dice. If the number is less than your skill, equal to or less than your skill, yeah. Turn to 238. There's not been many skill tests in this one, but there's been a few luck tests. Not so many of those either. Let's see, there we are. So 238. 5. And interestingly, of course, because this is something Steve Jackson sometimes messes up and uses inconsistently now. So for this skill test, it says if the number rolled equals or exceeds your skill. or if the number is lower than your skill. Because usually with a skill test, in most of the books, it is a success if it is equal to or less than your skill. It's one of those things that can get a bit sort of, yeah, tricky. I think that because skill can be 12, meaning that you have an automatic success of a roll, that a skill test just consistently should really be to roll below the skill, but that's just me. In any case, it is used inconsistently, and of course, that's one of the problems with Starship Traveler, is that it was used inconsistently through the book, and it looked like somebody was trying to edit that to make it consistent and then messed it up even more. Never mind that. Right, so I succeeded anyway, or I rolled less in my skill, which I suppose is supposed to be a success. So I'm going to go to, unless there's an error here. Thinking quickly, you snatch the bird from the branch. It flutters in your hands, but a sharp squeeze silences it. The Ophidiator hears the rustling and turns to see what is happening. You step slowly from the undergrowth, holding out the bird towards it as an offering. At first, the creature is startled by your arrival, but your slow approach seems to reassure it. You hold the bird closer, and its tongue darts out to snatch the food from you. You calm it down for a short time, then swing yourself up onto its back. It shrugs and snorts for a moment or two, but its protests are few, and you realize that you now have a steed. After allowing the Ophidiator to drink from the river, you grasp its neck with your wide fingers and dig your heels into its haunches. Without warning, the creature turns and gallops off into the undergrowth. Its strong legs take you faster and faster through the woods. Branches catch your legs and arms while you are hugging the Ophidiator's neck tightly for balance and to protect your head. The journey continues for a seemingly endless time until you are so sore from riding that you wish the beast would throw you off. But finally, you arrive at a clearing where the creature pulls up and stops. With great relief, you step down from its back and survey the area, while your steed gallops back into the woods. Well, is it a kind of shortcut, maybe? Let's find out. Turn to 366. I'm sure you can get to this point in other ways too. Maybe. 366. Start to move my window on my screen a little bit now, because the thing is, I have a picture of the webcam on my desktop, and if the picture of my webcam on my desktop is away from the camera, I have a tendency to look, because this is something that you instinctively do as a human being, you look at the eyes. So you look at your own eye, end up looking at your own eyes instead of into the camera. So what I usually try to do is to put the window for the camera view behind the camera, so that the only place I can look is straight at the camera. There we go. You step back into the bushes and search the clearing suspiciously. All is quiet until a shrill cry breaks the silence. This is followed by the sounds of a struggle, and finally 3 figures tumble into the clearing from the undergrowth, locked in combat. 2 rough-set brigands are grappling with another creature. The brigands are burly humans with leather breastplates and boots. The belts around their waists hold throwing knives, but they are using their bare fists in the battle. The adversary is thin and nimble, with long white hair and angular features. He wears a silky robe and appears to be unarmed. He is putting up a brave fight, but is clearly losing the battle as blow after blow from the brigands thuds into his stomach, ribs, and head. He is crying out for help. Will you help him? If so, turn to 429. If you would rather keep hidden until the brigands have left, turn to 295. I don't know. Is this what it seems? Because this is where you might jump to the conclusion that the brigands are in the wrong and they have to... Whereas it could be the other way around. They're not using their knives, which is a bit odd. It's almost like they don't want to kill the person. In any case, I'm curious. I have to find out what's going on. So I'll probably help him now. And if that turns out to be completely the wrong thing to do, which I suspect it may, then yeah, I'll just do something else next time. Right, so 2 options. So help or stay hidden. So I'm going to try to help him and see, just to find out what's going on here. As you crash out of the bushes into the clearing, the battle halts temporarily, and all 3 combatants stare incredulously at you. You must resolve your battle with the brigands, who will fight you together. The thin creature is too badly beaten to be of any help and drops to the ground moaning. Okay. And I've heard that somebody just came with a delivery, and they are terrible at knocking on the door. I mean, don't people know how to knock these days? Our doorbell has stopped working, so I removed it. And sometimes people think that just rattling the mail slots cover is enough to alert you to the fact that someone's at the door. It isn't. You take your hand and you rap at the door 3 times. That is the anything else, and you just think that's a noise or somebody trying to deliver something through the mail slot. Not very good. I'll have to put a beecher on the door so people actually realize that that's how you're supposed to knock. Anyway, 400 and where was I? 400 and yes, I'm supposed to fight first, and then I can go to the victory paragraph after. So 8, 9, and 8, 7. As usual, it is fighting both together. So I've got 3 skill point advantage. I'm going to go with the 8, 9 first, I think. So 5, 3. And the second one, defending myself, he rolls 9, I roll 10. So of course I'm not killing him because I'm just defending myself now. I'm not actually attacking him. New round, 7, 4. Instant death. Well, instant death, rather. Instant death is something else in Fighting Fantasy. And the second one, I'm defending myself. Yep. And now I'm fighting just 1. He rolls 5, I roll 8. 8, 8, 8, 2. He's dead as well. Right. 448. Exhausted from your battle, your attentions turn to the white-haired creature lying moaning on the ground. Seeing that the battle is over, and that you mean him no harm, he turns towards you. As he speaks to you, he winces in pain from his beating. I offer you my thanks for your aid. My name is Whiteleaf. I am an elf. I'm just going to do normal voice now. Home for me is the village of Ethelle Amaene. Should there be some dots there over the E? It should be Amaene. I'm quite sure that's Ethelle Amaene. It turns over onto his back and continues. Ah, that's better. I know these woods well. Perhaps I can be of service to you in return. What would you like him to tell you? Anything he knows about Stittlewoad, what he knows of the Galley Keep, or more about himself. Do I know anything about Galley Keep? That's not a... How can I ask these questions? I've never heard of Stittlewoad or of Galley Keep. How can I even ask those questions? Continuity error, that's what I call that. Right. You do get it in most Fighting Fantasy game books, to be honest, but still, yes. And this one is sort of extra glaring because you're not supposed to know. I mean, the night before you didn't even know what moons and clouds and what not where. You've never seen a tree before, that sort of thing. And now you suddenly ask about Stittle Woad and Galleykeep. I may have read the word Stittle Woad, haven't I? But I don't think I've read the word Galleykeep anywhere. Right. Never mind. I'm just going to put down the options now. So 167, 269, and 58. Stittle Woad, Galleykeep, or himself. I'm going to play it the honest way now. I'm just going to ask him about himself because I don't know anything about the other things. So yeah, at least I do that this time. Whiteleaf beams with pride at the chance to tell of his adventures. My family is well respected in our village, he starts. My mother, rest her soul, was a lady-in-waiting to our Queen Ethilessa, while my father served in the Royal Guard. I earn my living tending our aviaries, for we of Ethelaemaene are great bird lovers. Our birds are trained to work for us, gathering food for our cooking pots and herbs for our potions. Anyone who is trained in the art of bird caring can communicate with the birds, whose wisdom is great. They know the solutions to most of our problems and want to help us. They carry me about in the woods, and any minute now I expect Cherry and Chitta will arrive to take me back to patch up my wounds. He looks anxiously into the skies. Oh, that's not one of the ones that I killed. Birds fly about above the trees, but none come down into the clearing. After waiting for a few moments, he decides to leave and sets off in the direction you arrived from, with a wave and another expression of thanks. Turn to 414. That wasn't super useful, but okay. A path leads from the clearing to the north, although you can see that it soon forks left and right. Will you go east or west? So I think I'm going to go and let's see, number 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to go and make a new map here, and that goes to number 7. Number 7, 414. And then we have 272. Oh, no. That feels wrong, doesn't it? When you have east and west, to put east on the left side and west on the right side, it gets very confusing. I have done that before, and actually, even though this is not a this is a flowchart map, it still can get confusing because instinctively you think east and then right, west, left. So east 272 and west 139. So I'm going to go east 272. You follow the path through the woods until you reach a clearing. Here there is a small pond. The water is not stagnant, and as a small stream leads from it deeper into the woods, and it is a favorite watering hole for the woodland birds, although they flit high up into the branches when you arrive. Well, I'm a bird killer, I suppose. The water shines with a silver sheen, and you can see quite clearly the reflections of the treetops and clouds. Would you rest here beside the pond and perhaps drink from it? If so, turn to 176. If you would prefer to pass by and continue along the path, turn to 52. So we have 2 options. 52, pass, or 176, rest. I don't need to rest, but I'm going to rest anyway, just in case something interesting happens. If you simply rest by the pond, turn to 453. If you drink from it, turn to 391. If you would prefer to bathe in it, turn to 26. Interesting options, also rest, drink, 391, drink, and 26, bathe. I'm going to try bathing in it, just to see if anything interesting happens. You wade slowly into the pond and relax in its cool, refreshing water. When you emerge from the water, you feel much better and may add 2 stamina points. But when you look down at yourself, you are astonished to see that your scales are no longer the usual dark browny green color, but are covered in a glistening layer of milky liquid, which is drying to leave a silvery sheen. Although you try to brush it off, it will not smear, much to your annoyance. But in fact, the silvery layer is a coating of a magical material that will act as thin armor. While you are covered in the silvery layer, you may add 1 to your skill score, and this is a bonus, not a change of skill. But it will be washed off if you bathe in clear water. Now turn to 52. So we have +2 stamina and +1 bonus skill. So that means at the moment we have an effective skill of 12. For fighting purposes, again, by the way, and that should also be clear because this is something that works as an armor. It doesn't make you more agile. So I'm going to do this the way it should be logically, how it logically works. So now turn to 52. So we have 52. So I'm sure the other options of drinking also would give you some benefits, although I'm going to try that some other time maybe. You leave the glistening pond and continue along the path. It winds through the trees until you eventually reach a fork, where you may continue either to the left or to the right, not east or west anymore. In the center of the fork, a pole has been fixed into the ground, and hanging from the pole by his wrists is a sight which widens your eyes. Half dead from exposure, but looking plump and tasty, is a hobbit. Mouth-watering, you rush up to the little creature. As he hears your footsteps, his eyes open slowly. No, he moans, guessing that your intentions do not involve greeting him warmly. Please let me down and leave me be. I can tell you where both of these paths lead, and how to avoid the dangers along them. You are hungry, and the sight of this tasty morsel is an unexpected treat. Will you cut him down and make a meal of him, or will you cut him down, listen to what he says about the paths ahead, and then eat him? No, sorry, I misread that. And release him. Okay. I'm going to try to cut him down, listen to him, and release him. Just to see if I have the willpower now, because I have got more wisdom, of course, and more self-control as this adventure progresses. So this is a test. See if I can do catch and release, so to speak. Okay. So we have 2 options. So 206, eat. 70, listen. I'm going to try to do that. 70. A wave of relief passes across the hobbit's face as you reach up to bite through his ties. Oh, thank you, he sobs. I will keep my side of the bargain and tell you what lies down both of these paths. The path to the left will lead you to a dead... Wait, what are you doing? No! The little creature has noticed the mounting frenzy in your eyes as you try to subdue your natural instinct. You have been battling valiantly against an impulse to silence the little creature for good and devour him, but it is hopeless. You cannot fight your natural passion. A single blow sends the hobbit crashing senselessly to the ground, and soon you have picked his carcass clean. Yes. Restore your stamina to its initial level. Okay, so not quite there yet then. And choose whether to take the fork to the right or the path to the left. Right, so we have... So 3, 5, 1 left or 1, 8, 3 right. So he said that to the left is... The path to the left will lead you to a dead end, maybe. I'm going to go right in that case. I don't like dead ends. I've seen too many of them. already, I think, in this game. The path winds tortuously, actually. I always thought it was tortuously. Have I been wrong all this time? I have to look that up because I like looking things up. Okay, let's see. Let's see what Collins have to say about it. Tortuously. It's tortuously. It sounds almost like it has to do with tortoises and oh, torturous is a word, so tortuous as well. Are those just the same thing then? Tortuous. Oh, twisted or winding. Okay, so that's different from tortuous then. Very easy to mix those up then, isn't it? Tortuous, torturous. Ah. Torturous, twisted. Okay, so there is some small overlap of meaning there, but tortuous is so twisted and winding. Okay, that's interesting. I haven't noticed before that there were two different words. Oh, always like it when I learn a new word. It does happen sometimes. Okay. The path winds tortuously through the forest, and you follow it up hill and down dale. Although you pass many types of birds and other small animals, there seems to be nothing menacing about the wood, and you are soon feeling quite carefree, until you notice that the wood has been changing very subtly. The general color of the forest is imperceptibly changing from rich browns and greens to duller shades of the same colors. You are entering the forest of spiders. When you first notice this, you think little of it, but now the atmosphere of the wood is changing too. The chirping of songbirds is replaced by the cawing of crows. Previously, there were brightly colored butterflies flitting from flower to flower, but now only black and brown buzzing insects are to be seen. Your steps slow to a more cautious pace. Your eyes dart from tree to tree as if you were expecting something to spring out at any moment. This is probably where you're supposed to turn back. But there is nothing. Then a noise behind you catches your attention and you twist round to a startling sight. Standing directly in the middle of the path behind you is a tall tree. Its gnarled branches are dead and twisted. Its trunk is stout and knotted. But you are certain that it was not there when you passed along that part of the path. Will you go back to investigate the tree, or will you quicken your pace away from it? Great. So, nice. So 76 tree or 102 quicken. I'm going to check out this tree now. You arrive back at the tree and study it incredulously. There it is, standing right in the middle of a path which you walked along only moments ago. Yet it seems to be as lifeless as a gallows pole. And its roots are well buried in the ground. Are you imagining things? Unfortunately for you, you are not, as you realize the next instant when a branch catches you on the shoulder. You recoil in fright and look up to see the branches of the tree slowly shifting round as if blowing in the wind and bending towards you. The tree is alive. Well, most trees are actually when you think about it. One of the branches catches your arm. I suppose it's animate rather than alive. Yeah. One of the branches catches your arm and wraps its tip round like a bullwhip. You flinch and snatch your arm away, and at that very moment your creature's eyes flick open. The tree spirit's icy glare freezes you to the spot. Your heart is pounding, but you are unable to move. Finally, you break its stare and manage to turn round and run, but only then do you realize the secret of Xenowood, as this mysterious part of the forest of spiders is known. Another tree spirit is blocking your way, and more are shifting slowly towards you. A huge circle of the creatures surrounds you. Ooh. Turn to 434. This sounds like the end, doesn't it? 434. The tree spirits are tightening the circle, moving in closer and closer. You are hopelessly trapped. They are not evil creatures, but they allow no one to pass through their forest without permission. You shall not pass. The penalty is death. And so endeth the adventure for the day. So, the end. Right. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it there for the day. I think that's almost an hour, I think, of video. I think that's a good length. I shouldn't make all these 2.5 to 3 hour videos. It's quite long. What do you think is a long video? Do you think more than 20 minutes is long, or do you think more than an hour is long? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really enjoyed that. There were some interesting things going on. This is like a whole new adventure now, because everything that happened today, or it felt like everything that happened now, is a new adventure that is completely unconnected almost to what happened in the dungeons. And in a way, that is good, because it feels, this section of the book then feels new and fresh. It's not more of the same. It's not like when you have a dungeon crawl through an entire book and you feel like it's very samey, and you sort of, do you see a door on the left, do you open the door, do you turn right, do you turn left, there's a portcullis coming down, there's a trap, there's all that usual stuff. It feels a bit grindy sometimes. So it's nice to have this sort of nice outdoor feel to it. And yeah. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye for now.